This is the part of the show where I think at Worldwide Classic, we're going to start a petition to see about getting Shane McMahon back involved in the WWE. I've always been a fan of Shane McMahon. I thought that as the son of Vince McMahon, Shane just understood the WWE. He understood the pro wrestling that Vince McMahon created. I always thought Shane was one of the best talkers on the microphone. And I thought he always had a great mind for this business. I'm bringing him up because he's the only person that had enough sense to book Omos properly. Some years ago, Shane McMahon introduced a new concept called Raw Underground. And it was almost like an MMA style fight pit that was going on during the middle of Monday Night Raw. It's kind of difficult to describe it. It's something you would just have to see to believe it. Some people thought the concept was silly. The way that this show has been going now, I think Raw Underground will be welcomed back with open arms. Back to our point, Shane McMahon almost treated this fight pit like a club. And at the door, he had a bouncer. He had security, if you will. And this guy was Omos. As strange as it is, Raw Underground not being actually a part of the main show. But even in this version of Monday Night Raw, Shane managed to do something that nobody else has done. Shane McMahon put Omos in the proper spotlight. And all he did was just be the security for Raw Underground. But that's the exact type of look that you should use for a guy like this. I mean, what else do you do with a damn giant? It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to understand this. And Shane McMahon, having the IQ that he has for the WWE, he thought of this right away. Keep in mind that Shane McMahon had been away from WWE for years. Some people thought he might not ever come back. So when he finally decides to make a return, this was his first contribution back in the WWE. Me personally, I thought this was a great look for Omos. See, collectively, we don't even know it as fans, the type of personality that Omos has. Because at times, we've seen that personality shine through. And even for the fans that go out to the shows and go to the meet and greets and the autograph signings, some of the fans have actually met Omos. And I'm pretty sure they could all vouch for the fact that Omos has more personality than the WWE is giving him credit for. I could see why Shane McMahon doesn't want anything to do with WWE. He's sick of that shit too. Here you have a guy like Shane McMahon pretty much gift wrap you a superstar. Somebody with that potential at least. And what did they do with Omos after that? Almost nothing. Until they put him in a tag team with AJ Styles. Ain't that kind of crazy when you think about that? This is years ago. And in 2025, AJ Styles is in another weird tag team with Dragon Lee. It's not a bad tag team. It's just who in the hell comes up with this shit? AJ Styles is a world-class athlete that can survive on his own as a champion. But yet he seems to be the subject of some silly experiment year after year, involving him in unnecessary tag teams. And we seen what happened with that tag team of AJ Styles and Omos. Absolutely nothing. What the hell was gonna happen? What type of story was there even to tell? And it's still just all a damn shame. Cause even with a guy like AJ Styles, that still wasn't good enough to get Omos the type of push that he needed. It wasn't enough to give the powers to be the confidence that they needed in Omos. And for me, it's almost like certain guys are just set up to fail. One of the most memorable moments from that Raw Underground was when the Hurt Business took over. They came to Raw Underground with one thing in mind, and that was to whoop everybody's ass. And that's exactly what they did. And that was one of the signature moments for Raw Underground. I'm bringing that up because why wouldn't you put Omos in the Hurt Business? You could have used Raw Underground as a conduit to make that happen. Because when the Hurt Business arrived to Raw Underground, they all dapped up Omos. Everything was in sync perfectly and nothing was forced. Just a small gesture as that. A fist bump to enter Raw Underground with Omos. They could have used that little small amount of chemistry and let Omos be an enforcer for the Hurt Business. This is one of the reasons why MVP doesn't want anything to do with WWE. Or Triple H for that matter. Either before or slightly after MVP quit the WWE, he made a statement that It doesn't make any sense for a company not to be able to make money with Omos. Because a lot like me right now, I know that pisses MVP off to see that potential being wasted. Especially when I'm pretty sure MVP probably pitched the idea to have Omos in the Hurt Business. I don't know that for 100% fact. I haven't heard that rumor. But I would like to think I know enough to know MVP wouldn't just let a guy like Omos go to waste. It should be a no-brainer. Which means that even people with no brain should be able to make that happen. That way, any excuse that the WWE has as it pertains to Omos, it just wouldn't matter. He would be in the background, playing the background role for the Hurt Business. Because you have MVP doing all of the talking anyway. This is even more of the thing that Omos needed. A real manager. Not just another experiment that the WWE is trying. MVP has the gift of gab. MVP is talented enough to get any wrestler over. Especially in modern times. This is what Omos needed. Not only did you need a guy like MVP to do some of the talking, but MVP is a veteran. I thought this is what you wanted to do with young talent, is give them mentors and give them people that they can learn the business from. Ain't that what the WWE did with Randy Orton and Batista? Isn't that exactly what the WWE are doing right now with Braun Breaker? Because this is what you do. But you only do this when you want to see particular wrestlers win. And again, for me, that's just bull. Because that shouldn't be what the sport is about. If these guys or ladies are making it to WWE, the main company in this sport, if they're good enough to make the roster, then they should be featured on TV no matter what. Let the people decide who they want to see. Not these entitled, ego-driven people that's running the company behind the scenes. Yeah, they should have some say in what we see, but they shouldn't have total say in the things that go on. These executives and Triple H, they will even come out to the ring on the microphone and say that none of this happens without the WWE Universe. I mean, it's just like Triple H saying that this past Monday Night Raw was going to be epic. At this point, this man would just say anything. Triple H would have been great at selling used cars. They love to tell us from time to time that the WWE would not happen without the WWE Universe. But whenever the universe is speaking up and saying what's right and what's wrong, these same executives and chief content officers don't want to hear it. As much as I criticize WWE, I never thought that I would say that Triple H is really out of touch with this sport. And the year 2025 is all the proof that we need. We have more evidence as well, but just this year alone pretty much sums up the fact that Triple H doesn't have the vision for the WWE that I thought he did. And I keep trying to not make this about race, but it's almost overwhelming evidence of that. I started talking about this early in the year with R-Truth, and the WWE tried to do some PR and fix that situation. But since they quote-unquote fixed it, I haven't seen R-Truth do anything meaningful in the company. Right after WWE rehired R-Truth, they made it seem like they were going to take R-Truth seriously and that he was going to be a serious competitor. And that lasted all but 45 days. And then they had him right back to doing clown. No shots at R-Truth whatsoever. This man is almost or in his 50s, and he's competing better than almost half the people on the roster. And even when he had that type of momentum with the fans behind him, the way that they were earlier this year, and the WWE just does not give a damn what we're talking about. Contrary to what they say, they don't care about what's right. I'm just confused because I don't know what they care about. Triple H is saying that LA Knight is not over. I don't know what type of lens these people are looking through. I honestly don't. This is why I'm saying that the chief content officer seems to be outdated and out of touch. How can you not see the potential stars you have there? And yet you don't do a damn thing about it. And you have a guy that's 7'6", a giant that's athletic, that could move around the ring, that still has a lot to learn. But in this day and age, what wrestlers don't? They all could use some fine tuning to a certain degree. But when you're a giant, I'm convinced that you don't have to do much in the first place, which makes this ridiculous that Omos hasn't even been featured on television. So since I went on that rant, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play damage control. I'm going to show how you could use Omos and how it's foolish that people with all of this quote unquote experience can't figure these things out. A lot like Shane did with Raw Underground. Why not have Omos just be the mediator for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown? Or one of the two. At this point, it doesn't even matter. Just get him on one of the damn shows. And then once the WWE has allowed Omos to participate on TV again, just have Omos be the enforcer of the shows. From time to time, we see Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce almost be bullied by WWE superstars. You got times where certain superstars are out of control and they're not taking orders or instruction. And they want to do whatever the hell they want to do. In moments like this is when Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis can have a guy like Omos. That's the mediator. That takes care of the problems when people don't want to listen. When Nick Aldis is having problems with Drew McIntyre, send Omos. When Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker are trying to have their way on Monday night, send Omos. If somebody is crying and complaining and saying that they want a title opportunity, send Omos. Hell, let's just say a general manager is just flat out annoyed by a wrestler. Send Omos. Let Omos be the capital punishment in the WWE. A lot like how Teddy Long used The Undertaker. Because if you cross Teddy Long the wrong way, your ass was going one-on-one with The Undertaker. And it was simple as that. We're talking about a company in the WWE that does nothing but recycle. Use things that we've seen 100 times before. But in a situation like this is something that they can't replicate. They can't have that same Teddy Long dynamic, that one-on-one versus The Undertaker. Now you just have to go one-on-one with Omos. I mean, the story just writes itself. And the beautiful part about this is you're getting Omos the reps that he needs. You're getting him the television time. You're getting him the opportunities to be in the ring every week. And most importantly, for the sake of building a superstar, you're letting the fans and the crowd get invested into Omos. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be what the fans want to see. Once the fans get involved, we don't know what that could do for the confidence of Omos. Because right now, I'm pretty sure his confidence isn't at 100%. How could it be when you're employed to a company that seems to not even trust you or believe in you for that matter? Just like earlier, I mentioned the Great Khali. The last time I checked, the Great Khali won the World Heavyweight Championship a few times. This man was an actual champion in the WWE on more than one occasion. I'm not saying that Omos has to automatically be a WWE champion, but at the same time, when the time is right, why wouldn't he be?